Hello, everybody. Duoqueue podcast back again. Number two. Still no webcams because we are being lame, and not feeling like being on webcam, but that's all right. Um,
And in our defense, both of us have been pretty sick this last month.
that's true. I don't know if anybody else has gotten this flu thing that's been going around, but it kind of sucks. So, um,
That it did.
we've been recovering from that, but there's too much stuff to talk about to not do an episode. So we're here. um, Faceless, but I'm Chelmai Barasan or
I'm
Chelbertson
Graylich.
or whatever else you want to call me.
I'm
I'm
Graylich.
sorry I cut you off.
No, you're good.
That's
I know
normal.
you
I
have
feel like that's
six
pretty
different
normal in our
names. Uh,
lives.
yeah.
You're the quiet one, but
Not on this stream. I'm the loud
no.
one here.
Yeah, if any of you have watched any previous episodes, I'm a little quiet. I think we've mostly got it figured out, where we should be same similar volume. Greylich is probably still loud, but I think we're almost there. So
Yeah.
be patient with us.
Technical
We're
difficulties.
figuring things out. That we're new to this kind of stuff, but let's just jump in, dude. There's so much. Actually, you know what? Before we jump in, I'm as always. I feel like we always have a snack when we are doing a podcast, which is probably bad
We
for
do.
listening.
We do typically have a snack.
But
It's a good thing you're quiet.
I got some like roasted, slightly salted almonds. So
Okay.
good.
Okay.
I like almonds. I think almonds are pretty underrated.
Almonds are like top three nuts, in my
Oh,
opinion.
absolutely. Absolutely. I would
Okay,
agree with
maybe
that.
top five. Top five for sure.
Top five for sure.
It, it that's just pistachios. Love pistachios.
Pistachios are pretty good. I
Peanuts.
pistachios can kind of get old though if you're not doing like
True.
the flavored ones.
That's fair.
But the
And you
cracking
can't just
pistachios
do
is so satisfying.
cracking pistachios is so satisfying. You do have to do at least salted. You can't just do
Yeah.
raw
Yeah, you're
pistachios.
right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, pistachios are up there. I agree. Peanuts.
Peanuts,
Yep.
cashews.
See, I'm not a big cashew person personally, but it's you know what? It's good. It's good that I don't like cashews because my wife is a cashew person.
So she gets
So
the
it's perfect.
cashews.
And she's
Oh.
not a big peanut person. So I get the
She doesn't
peanuts.
like peanuts?
It's not that she doesn't like them, but she prefers like cashews and like other nuts. So she gets my cashews, I get her peanuts. So
Fair
it works
enough.
out, balance each other out. Pecans are
Fair
up there
enough.
for me. I don't know how you feel
Mm.
about pecans. I feel like those are.
Pecans are pretty good. They do make a great pie.
Oh, I love pecan pie. So good. And it's not pecan, it's pecan.
It's not pecan, it's pecan.
It's pecan.
Like,
Okay, get it right. For you dumb people that say it the wrong way. Um, I'm trying to think of what other.
anyway, I don't know what other nuts we have.
Right, almonds. We talked. I like walnuts if it's in food, certain foods,
Yes.
like brownies, muffins. It could be pretty good in
Pies. Walnuts
pies.
on a
Yeah,
pie.
yeah.
Really good. Um, I don't know why I can't think of any nuts right
I'm
now.
not a big macadamia nut person. I, I mean,
They
they're
can be good on cookies.
yeah,
I do like them on
eh.
cookies, but
Like it's good on cookies, but I'd rather have other cookies than macadamia nut cookies personally.
no, that is fair.
So it's like, what's the
Now,
point?
this one, not so much the nut itself, but hazelnut,
Okay,
Nutella.
yeah, a little hazelnut spread.
Love Nutella.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, well now that we got our nut tier list out of the way,
We didn't even make a tier list,
we
but we're
could.
not going to make a
We're
tier
not
list. We
going
made a
to.
cookie tier list
We did
before.
do that once. That's right. I forgot about the
Chocolate
cookie tier
chip,
list.
always top of
Goated,
the list,
the best.
without a
Snickerdoodles are
doubt.
up there.
Those weird sugar cookies from the store.
Oh, the Loft House cookies.
No, not the Loft House. Like the ones that taste like nothing.
Yeah, it's like the with the frosting on them.
Yeah, are those the Loft House?
Yeah, they're
I
Loft House.
thought
I think
Loft
they're
House was
Loft House
something else.
cookies.
No.
I'm about to Google this. Yeah, they're Loft House cookies. Yep, yep.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
That's what I
Okay, yeah,
thought.
Loft
So I was
House
like,
cookies.
yeah, those are
They taste
so
like nothing,
freaking good. So good
but they're
though.
good.
So freaking good. Um. Anyways, well, speaking of
Anyway,
pets and cookies, um, the new League of Legends champ that they just announced. I don't. When is he coming out? Do
that's
you know when he's coming out?
I believe he's not out this patch.
Yeah. And also,
But
this
I
picture is not
believe
blurry. I'm just
that's just
throwing
the
that out
picture.
there. That's just how it was. I got it from.
I believe he's next patch. Um,
Here, we'll fix this real quick. There we
oh,
go. It was blurry.
what's his name? I can't think of his name.
Smolder?
Smolder. Yes,
Oh my
Smolder.
gosh.
Smolder the dragon.
A little controversial, I've heard. Some people.
Yes, which I can understand why the controversy here.
I think people
If
don't like his look. I think they think he's too kiddie.
I the issue I've seen from a lot of people is his face.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a dragon all the way up until his face, where they went the like kid animation, like essentially put a human face and kind of morph it into the animal instead of just like making him a dragon, which I can understand why people are kind of
Yeah.
upset about it, because like they could have just made him a dragon. I don't think anybody would have been upset about that.
It reminds me of I'll put this in here just for fun. The Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh yeah, no, the Sonic the Hedgehog, the
How they
first
had to
one.
redo his entire
Yeah,
face
that
animation.
cursed thing on the right there.
Yes. It does not look like Sonic
See,
at all.
kind of like that. The biggest one I've heard is My Little Pony. It's like My Little Pony,
Okay.
where like yes, it's an animal, but it's very human in its facial structure, and just why not just make it into a full dragon?
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
That's what he is.
But didn't they come out and say that they changed it?
I hadn't heard that one, but
Thought I
I wouldn't be
saw
surprised.
somewhere.
If Sonic can do it, League can do it. Either way, in game he looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, okay, so they did change his face. So this is the
Okay,
more
this is the more recent one.
updated face, I believe, which does look more dragony than the one
Uh,
that they had before. So here, I'll post the picture of them saying that they changed it. I
okay.
think this might be the older one actually. So this is what they, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm pretty sure Lexical is the head lead designer for League
Yeah,
of
she's
Legends.
she's one of the designers, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. But yeah, see,
like even just
I
the
can see.
nose and the eyes change, like makes it look way more dragon-like,
Yeah,
in
it's
my
just
opinion. Yeah,
it's just more reptilian,
yeah,
which I love. I actually really like the reptilian look a lot better.
I do too. Yeah, I'm happy that they listen and I would assume that they probably had a few designs for it and decided to go with the more, because like if they were able to get this out so fast, I'm
Uh,
assuming they had multiple designs of him,
I'm sure they did.
and I'm sure
I
they
mean,
were.
usually when they talk about after releases, like they always have like the build up to the champion.
Yeah,
They always have hundreds of different designs, like Thousand Pierced Fair.
right,
So
right, yeah. So glad they're making this change. It'll be interesting to see. I've seen some gameplay footage of him. It doesn't look very strong. Just some of the gameplay footage I saw was he wasn't doing much.
mhm.
So I don't know if that was just a bad example or maybe somebody was not using him correctly or building him correctly. Um,
I
like I
I
said,
don't
it was
know.
just like a little Twitter clip, so it
Yeah,
wasn't a very reliable source. Um,
my
but
understanding is he's scaling champion,
hmm,
so week early, but potentially infinitely scaling, like Acel.
I think he does have a stacking ability. I mean, we have his abilities. We could look it up.
Yeah, we do have his
Yeah, they announced all
abilities.
of it because I want to say his Q stacks.
Well, no, I think it
His
might be his passive
uh
stack.
um yep. Smolder gains stacks of dragon practice whenever he kills a
Hmm.
unit with Super Scorcher Breath or hits an
Which is
enemy
his Q.
champion with an ability. Each stack increases the damage of his basic abilities. Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
he's infinitely stacking. His
Infinitely
Q,
stacking.
if you see the numbers on it, it is a novel.
Every champion has a novel now
Hmm.
for all their abilities.
But I know this was like the idea behind him was they weren't trying to make it difficult. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Which gameplay wise, he doesn't look too difficult. And maybe that's what they're going with. But ability wise, it looks difficult. Just how much text is on there.
Yeah. The only thing I know is a lot of times with champions, they have a wall of text, but you could really simplify it to like two sentences.
Right.
Like actions W,
Hmm.
whole wall of text on that thing. All you need to know is you use it, you go camouflaged, and it can revive your allies or resurrect your allies.
That's it.
That's all.
That's
That's
all
all
you
you need.
need. And I just love his ult. Smolder's ult when
Oh,
he
his
calls his
ult
mom.
calling in his mom.
That's pretty awesome.
Uh, I'm excited for him. He looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Even if he's not strong, he looks like fun.
he
So,
does look like fun. And he just I like some more of the adorable champs. I think they're can be cute. Like I like
hmm
Zoe's. I think Zoe's a lot of fun.
so he's also a
Nico,
lot really
I like
annoying.
Nico a lot.
Nico's really fun.
But I
Um,
mean, I think there's a good balance of more like dark champions and more kind of cute archery champions.
there's everything in League.
Yeah.
So
All right. I think we've killed this topic here.
so far, I this is just touching on the one part, but we haven't mentioned it. The whole new season, like everything has changed in League pretty much.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's
So
a whole new map essentially.
whole new map,
Three
whole new Baron,
barons.
whole
Yeah.
new Void monsters,
Yeah.
new items, no more mythics. Stopwatch is gone.
Yeah. There's a lot of changes. And I didn't want to put like all the individual changes in here just cuz I wanted to see this weekend with the LEC and kind of see how they affected things, you know?
Hmm.
That way we could be like, "Oh man, the new brush mid or the new lane changes mid are broken." Or
Hmm.
like mid is not ganked as easily as it was in the past. Just kind of wait and see how the new items and the new meta kind of starts
See
out
how they use
before
it. Yeah,
before we
no,
start
that's
talking about it.
that's what I want to see. Not even just for LEC. I want to wait for. Well, personally, I would like to wait for see how LCS deals with it as
Right.
well.
Yeah. Well, especially LCS is playing on, well, which we'll talk about.
Yeah,
Um,
well,
but
they're on the live patch.
yes.
Exciting.
Before we talk about that though, I want to talk about the competitive changes they made to MSI because I thought this was I like one of these changes.
Hmm.
So the change that they made, each of the four major regions, LEC, LCS, LCK, LPL, will have three guaranteed world slots like normal.
Hmm.
PCS and VCS will have their two, and then the other regions have their one. Um, but the MSI winner now will auto qualify for worlds. So that's why I put
Ooh.
JDG on here because the example they use, if this system was in place, then JDG winning MSI 2023 would auto qualify to worlds,
Okay.
which I think is a good. I'm mixed on it. I think it's bad that you give a team an auto qualifying spot because then that kind of takes
It
out their
gives them
summer
no
split.
incentive to do anything for summer.
Right, exactly. And so I'm kind of like, which it wouldn't have mattered in this case because JDG won the summer split for China.
JDG just, yeah,
So,
they were quite good in
and
summer
I
as
think
well.
most cases your winner of MSI is going to be one of your top teams in the summer split. So it doesn't it's not going to be that impactful, but I like the other change that they made. And I wish they would have done this is the region that um, gets second gets a fourth slot automatically.
So first and second from MSI get 4 slots.
4 slots. Yes.
Okay.
So I think that's a I think that's a good change. I just wish it wasn't the team that auto qualified, but instead
With the
LPL gets a
region.
fourth slot. Right.
Yeah.
I think that would be a better adjustment. And also makes MSI
Oh,
more meaningful because then you're earning that spot at Worlds for your region.
mhm.
So
I I mean it's a good change. Well, like, honestly, it doesn't change much
yeah,
because
I mean it's pretty much always
LPL and
LPL
LCK
LCK.
usually have 4 slots anyway. So it's not a big change in my
True,
opinion, but
true. But if you get a G2
I
run or a
yeah, get
TL run that they have,
the miracle runs
hmm
for
or didn't
NA or
CLG
EU.
have a
Yeah, CLG got
the final against T1, right?
yeah, they got to finals against T1.
So I mean you have your cases where you get a team that makes a run, it can earn a spot for their region, which is kind of cool. So,
And it does put more importance on MSI. So
which I think is always a good thing. You want your international events to be competitive. So,
yeah, I you really want international events to be competitive.
hmm
Yeah.
and they also announced MSI will be in China,
Okay.
um, and then Worlds will return to Europe. So,
Okay. Worlds is in Europe this year. MSI is in
where
China.
was MSI at this year
Last year?
for 2023?
It was London, wasn't it?
You're right. You're right. It was London. So, I don't know how they determine where the location is going to be.
They kind of, I know they try and keep it rotating, at least between the major regions.
Right. I wish there was like a better way to do it. If that makes sense. I don't know what the solution would be, but I just feel like there should be a better way to rotate.
I don't know.
So I feel like we've had a
I don't
lot.
think there's anything wrong with
I
it,
feel like we've had a lot in
personally.
Korea.
I mean,
We've had a lot in EU. I feel
okay,
like there hasn't
so
that many in North America.
I'd have to go through and look at it, but I think I mean, for Worlds, you're definitely right because it was 2016 and then 2022 for
I think most worlds
in
have been in
NA.
Korea.
Um, where was 2017? Okay, so 2017 was China.
That's China. Okay.
2018 was Korea. 2019 was EU. And then 2020 was China. 2021 was Iceland. So
So
EU.
EU, kind of.
And then 2022 is NA.
So we've had most EU actually,
Yeah, it's been to EU a couple of times.
and it'll be EU again this year. So
I'm just excited for Worlds anytime it comes around.
True. I mean, it doesn't matter where it's at. It's always exciting. But I thought that was interesting that I was in EU. I feel like we need to. I was like, we just had. I thought we had MSI at EU, which we did. So
We did.
yeah,
So
just interesting.
I think they count those differently between
I think so.
MSI
Yeah,
and Worlds.
yeah. The other cool change that they announced is you put somebody on here too.
I did.
Um,
Thought it would be
they
fun.
are actually doing a Hall of Fame. LOL Esports
Yes.
Hall of Legends. That's what they're calling
The
it.
Hall of Legends.
So each year they're gonna induct certain players, casters, I believe, coaches. I think there's pretty much anybody is eligible for the Hall of Legends.
Hmm.
And then they also said that they're going to have like real life celebrations. Don't understand what that is, but they're also gonna have in-game ways to celebrate players and
Okay. I
coaches.
don't
So
know.
I'm hoping that's, maybe we get some special skins for Hall Legend skins, which would be pretty freaking sweet.
Be
Um,
interesting. With our luck, it'd be like a award.
oh yeah, it'll probably be like a ward or something, or maybe if they put something up in like Summoner's Rift of like the different legends or something. I don't know. There's a bunch of different things that they could do, but I think it's cool that they're finally kind of accepting that the sport has grown enough to have a Hall of Fame.
Actually, have a Hall of Fame
Right?
for
Yeah.
us. I did hear some controversy with it.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna try and get your opinion on this
Oh.
one. Should Faker be the first one in the Hall of Legends?
No, I think you have to be retired. I think it has to be like
That
other sport Hall of Fames where you have to be retired for X number of like a certain time period.
Hey, that's what I would think, but that just gets so difficult because like most sports, you have time. Where like, oh yeah, you can have it. Okay, you have to be retired for 5 or 10 years or whatever it is, right? The League of Legends has only been around for not even 15 years,
Yeah. Mhm.
and most of the players that you would want to put on this list, most of them are still playing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like Faker is the first one I would think of. He's still playing, so I would agree that you shouldn't put him on there first, just because he's not retired. But
When do you put him on there?
yeah,
Yeah. No, I think that's a great question. I think you can't do it until his like legacy is finished. That's why I'm saying retired. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, I agree
Does he
completely.
deserve to be in there? Yes.
Oh,
But
100%.
but what if he wins another world championship? What if he becomes a coach and wins two or three world championships? You know? So I think you
That's
have to
another
kind of
thing.
you
Should you
kind of have to
distinguish
wait.
between players and coaches? So like Faker goes in as even if he's as a coach, is if he's retired as a player, he can go into the Hall of Fame.
I would say yes, you can. I think that's fine.
So could you get in twice?
No, because I think they would just like have both stats in there or both, like, oh, he was a Hall of Fame player, Hall of Fame coach. Like,
Yeah,
you're not in there technically twice, but like,
the little addendum on
I don't
your
know. That's hard.
trophy.
That's really hard. That's really,
These
really
are
hard.
all questions that I don't have answers to and never will.
Right.
I'm not the one answering this, but I'm excited to see who they'll throw in there first because there's a lot of good names
Oh,
of
absolutely.
retired players
Yeah.
specifically that they could definitely put in there. Like uh, one I heard was Diamond Prox.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I think
there's
there's a lot of names that have changed the game maybe not the best players, but people that have changed the game and been a figure in the game that you could put in
Hmm.
there.
There are a lot of players, but
Should we build out our Hall of
doing
Fame,
our top
but
50.
so we can see where let Riot steal from us?
Yeah, just I mean,
Copy and
we
paste.
started doing this before they did,
We did.
so
We did. I mean,
I'm
we got
just
two
saying
people in there. Um,
we're adding two more.
we're adding two more today. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Yeah, I can go
Okay.
first. All right. So my addition here is Khan.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
He's uh as many of you would know, he's been on quite a few teams. Uh, I think went to Worlds every year in his career. If not every year, he went to Worlds numerous times and usually got into the playoffs and was a very, in my opinion, very good top laner. Uh,
Yes.
though he has a reputation for joining a team after their year of success and then not reaching the top. Because I know for sure he did it on Damwon, on SKT. Though I guess SKT hadn't won Worlds the
Yeah.
year prior, but still.
I mean, Dam
Um,
One still got second.
yeah, Damwon got
They got
second,
second
and
in both MSI and Worlds.
SKT, it was the 2019 SKT. They made
Right.
it to
Yeah.
semis, and one of the best series in people's opinion. So he's not a slouch of a player, but he does not have championships. That is the biggest thing in my opinion.
Hmm.
So
Which does that dock him necessarily? That's that's a good question. I think that kind of sets the tone for what we want our Hall of Fame to be.
that's where it gets difficult because I mean, if we're looking,
Because domestically, he's probably one of the best top laners. Like, he's won so many splits.
uh, yeah, how many splits did he win?
I'm looking here. He won 2021 summer, 2021 spring, 2020 summer, he got eighth place. Um, third 2020 spring,
Okay, that was another one.
first
FPX.
2019 summer, first 2019 spring, fourth. Okay, we won't talk about that. Um, that's when he was on Kingzone. First 2018 spring, first 2017 summer,
17 summer.
and then before that he was kind of in the lower
He was in the lower, but like
divisions.
even then, like Worlds 2017 quarters.
Yep.
Uh, second at 2018 MSI. Uh, okay, so yeah, I guess 2018 Worlds. He didn't qualify for Worlds that year, but semis in 2019 MSI, semis for 2019 Worlds. Uh, second at 2021 MSI, second at 2021 Worlds. Like still very high places
Oh, absolutely.
at these tournaments, just not top internationally.
Yeah.
And to influence your decision here, we did put double lift in the 30s. And if
Yes.
we're talking international success, double lift has none.
Yes.
So
And I personally, and you might heavily disagree with me here, I'd probably put Khan in the 40s. And the only reason I'm putting Khan in the 40s is, and maybe this is a bias, but I'm looking at his teams that he had success with.
he's
They're pretty
he's got stacked
freaking
team.
good teams. Like, you got Canyon, Showmaker. Ghost Barrel, and this was good Canyon Showmaker and Barrel. Ghost was
Mhm.
always to me. Um, but the other
I,
three, this is like their prime. Like they were destroying. Then of course you got Faker, Clid, Mata, who were killing it with SKT at this time. Teddy was hit or miss at that time. His FPX team we're not going to talk about, even though it was supposed to be one of the best teams with
I
Tien,
I
Doinb,
will bring up
Deuce,
the
Crisp.
FPX team because like Damn One wins worlds, changes their top laner, gets second. They bring Khan in over Nuguri, gets second. FPX wins worlds, bring in Khan over Gimgoon, don't even qualify for worlds. Like the team is exactly the same: Tien, Doinb, LWX, and Chris. So he does have this record of
Yeah, but
being the one change, and they don't succeed.
the 2020 summer is also one where they played Doinb bot a lot
Oh
and put
yeah, no,
Gimgoon
that was
mid. It was
that that was a mess.
yeah. So I don't know if that is necessarily like against them. I mean, I do hold it against them that you go in and you change your top laner and then you don't make worlds.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would put him probably like 45.
Okay.
Where I'd put him. I think he's still like one of the best top laners.
I agree. I think he's one of the best top laners. I think I would put him as well. I was gonna put him in the 40s, but I think I would do lower 30s, so like 38ish, just
Okay.
because looking at
Should we meet
remembering
in the
that we
middle
put
on our
double lift
listening?
at 33.
Should we
What is
meet in the
that?
mid
40?
40 like 41? I think is right.
That's somewhere around
We'll go
there.
with 41. We can
We'll
do 41.
33 DL is what we decided. What was it 41?
Yeah, let's do
42?
41.
All right. 41. We'll put Khan, which is
Why is
definitely
Faker
just
all the way
NA
over here?
bias
Why does it do
because
this? Why does it do that?
I don't know what is going on here. We're just definitely NA bias here, but I also do think
Well, and I'm also taking into effect like double lift's effect on the game itself.
mhm,
Like as a streamer personality, I think that has to come into effect somehow. It's just like, I mean, we're looking at the top 50 NBA players here. Like, you look at some of these guys that are lower on the list here, that I'm like, I have no idea who they are. Probably, I mean, they
that's
got to be
true.
extremely good basketball players, but their
But
personality
like,
didn't carry them to the top. Because these top
yeah,
guys all had, like, personalities, you know?
they all have personalities, but also like I see their face, I know who it is.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Like
Which
I see LeBron
you
James,
put
I
Khan on
know
here,
it's
and I
LeBron
I
James.
had to sit and look at him, and I was like, I know who that is, but I don't know who that is.
I've I've seen this face before.
Right. Whereas like you look at double lift and you're like, oh, that's double lift. Or you look at faker and you're like, oh, yep, that's faker. Or
And
you look at the next person and you know exactly who it is. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
um I was gonna say recognizing double lift is a little bit of a bias, but we did have a very good 80 carry come in last year who had looked up to double lift,
Uh huh.
even though he was in Korea.
Yeah.
So
There's a
it
lot
does
of
mean that they don't.
I've heard a lot of stories of Koreans that would see double lift and they're like, oh my gosh, it's double lift. Like
Yeah.
pros, you know. Um, I think there's some merit to that personally. Um, the person that I wanted to bring up is one of your personal favorites
It is one of my personal
all
favorites, which
time.
is why this is probably gonna
One of my
shock
personal
you.
favorites too. But Hooney, Mr.
Hooney, hooney,
Hooney,
hooney.
Mr. Ent himself.
Mr. Lucian Top.
hmm So I wanted to see where you would put Hooney. Not the most successful career overall, I would say. There's a lot of
You
ups and
wanna
downs on it.
you wanna give us a quick rundown on his career?
Yeah, let me pull up his history here. So, um, mainly started with Fnatic
Hmm.
in 2015, and they had some crazy run.
They were quite
They,
good.
yeah, they changed the game of League of Legends, just the way that him and Reignover played the game.
Hmm.
Um,
And Yellowstar. Yellowstar
and
was a big
Yellowstar,
part of
that's
it.
true. Um, did really, I mean, they got semifinals for MSI and Worlds in 2015, won both spring and summer playoffs. Then he goes over to Immortals in NA, and they were freaking killing everybody in the regular season of that spring,
I
2016
I
spring.
still think the regular splits are like two of the most dominant regular splits by a team in NA.
Like they destroyed everybody. Like
Yeah.
it was bad. They did lose one game, but that was kind of a fluky game.
It was
Um,
a very close game against
yeah,
CLG.
I think
I
it was
think it was
CLG.
CLG.
But then they get third in the playoffs.
Yeah, they
That's
bombed
kind
out of
of
the
yeah, they
playoffs.
kind of bombed out in the playoffs. Come back in the summer, go 16-2. Still dominant, not as dominant as they were in the spring. Like spring, they were like 15-minute games, 20-minute game. Like they were rolling people. It was not even close.
No,
Um,
I can show how much of a fan I am, but if you're looking for one of the best perfect games I've seen, it's I think week 2 in spring 2016 against TIP, Team
okay.
Impulse. It's like a 17, 18-minute game. Perfect game. Like
Like
complete
they were
stomp.
rolling teams, like destroying teams.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but again, third place that summer playoffs. Uh, they didn't make Worlds. I'm confused.
they did not
Was there only
make
two
Worlds that
teams
year.
that made Worlds? Oh no, that's right,
No,
because they had the
they
Gauntlet.
lost to
That's right, they lost to
Cloud9
Cloud9 in the
in the
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
That's
Yeah.
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Which Cloud9 made it out of the groups in that world, so
Oh, Cloud9 did their.
I'm
That
glad
wasn't their
Cloud9 made it.
miracle run year, but that was one of their
I
miracle
mean, that
run
was their
years.
miracle run year and the fact that they made it two worlds because I think they started at the bottom of the gauntlet.
No, okay, they might have started at the bottom of the gauntlet, but I think it was 2017, 2018 that they went from last place to
Yes, it was
Worlds.
2018, I believe.
Different
Anyways,
team.
yeah, different team. Huni goes to SKT, and they're pretty dominant with He's pretty dominant with SKT. They win MSI, go fourth in or second in the summer, make
Mhm.
the finals at Worlds, and that's when they get 3-0'd by Samsung
Mhm.
with um, what's his name? Core JJ was a support for
Yep.
Samsung. Then he goes back to NA, and it's very it's not great.
Yep.
It's not great. Very middle of the pack, and I think this kind of hurts his legacy. Uh, I don't think though, like the teams that he's on, I'm like he did help the teams a lot in my opinion.
Yes.
Like looking at some of these rosters, I'm like he went to Echo Fox and it was Huni Dardak, Phoenix slash Demonte, and then bot lane was like a revolving door. And
Yeah.
they still finished like fifth, sixth, almost made it to Worlds 2018. They finished third in the gauntlet. Where's the spring? Spring they finished third. Like like this was for a middle of the pack roster. Like It's respectable. It's average.
It's respectable. I think the biggest one for me is when he was on Clutch.
Hmm.
'Cause, like that roster is not that good looking.
No, that roster was terrible. With
Like the
Huni,
roster,
Lira, Demonte, Cody Sun, Vulcan. I mean,
yeah.
And Vulcan was not the Vulcan we know now. Like he was still
That this
super
was
young.
yeah, this was pre Cloud9 Vulcan.
Yeah, he was starting to become Vulcan at this point.
Hmm.
But I mean, they made it to Worlds. They
Yep.
did terrible at Worlds. They didn't win a single game, but they made it to
Well, they won games in the
They won
play-ins,
games in
right?
the plans, yeah, but in the groups they won.
In the group stage, no, they went 0-6.
They went 0-6. I don't count plans uh
Unless you're a minor region.
unless you're Golden Guardians and you can't make it out of plans. Uh,
They didn't make it to play-ins,
that's
so
true. That's
didn't
true.
lose out in Worlds.
Yeah,
Didn't make it to
you
Worlds.
can't you
So,
can't lose plans if you don't make it to plans. Big brain.
exactly.
And I think he overperformed with this the TSM roster that they had. It's still not a great roster. That's the Sword Art roster. PoE Sword Art.
Yeah,
Spica.
the
Young Spica.
the post Bjergsen.
Yep. Um, but yeah, no, like kind of kind of a disappointing end to his career, for sure.
Hmm.
So where do you one of your favorite players of all time? Where do you put him
Um,
in our top 50, or do you even put him in the top 50?
I would put him around the same place as Khan,
Okay. Mhm.
just because his last years as a player were kind of less than stellar, but I still think did he wasn't dragging teams down typically. He did drag
Yeah.
some teams down.
Yeah, he did. His especially towards the end, his champ pool was pretty
His champ
bad.
pool was very limited, his playstyle was limited,
But I
and
think he was hurt towards the
he
end of his
I
career. I think he
do
had some
believe he
wrist
was
and hand
wrist
issues.
injuries.
Yeah. So.
But the thing that brings him, I think, above Khan for me is just the personality, like you were talking about. Huni had a very distinct personality.
Oh yeah. No, when I put Hooney on here, when I thought of putting Hooney on here, like I was like top 25 of all time. Top 25 of all time. I was like, I love Hooney. Hooney was so good. And then when we were looking up Khan's results and stats and looking at him as a player, I was like, Hooney might be a little bit lower than where I had him originally.
Hmm. Where were you gonna put him originally?
I was gonna put him in top 25. I was gonna put him at like 25. But now looking at his results and him as a player and looking at Khan as a player and putting Khan where I put Khan, I'm like, can I justify putting Hooney above Khan? I don't know.
Uh, I think I can
But how much
because
above Khan? That's where I'm conflicted.
that's I wouldn't say much above Khan. I'd put him at
Right.
like 38, 39, 40, somewhere around there.
Because I think you got to be
But
realistic. Like, Khan is a better player overall.
I, uh,
But
at the same time though, like yes, Khan might be the better player overall, but they're in different eras
maybe
too.
not the highest peak. Like, maybe he didn't have Hooney's peak, potentially. Um,
Because Huni
but
did win MSI.
Hooney did win
So,
MSI. But I mean, Hooney was also on SKT that had who was on that MSI team? Peanut, Faker, Bang, Wolf, and
yeah,
Kokoma as the coach.
yeah.
Like that's a freaking
It was
great
a
roster.
very, very good team.
Yeah.
And while they did get 3-0'd by Samsung, that is the Ardent meta.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so a lot of people, this is retroactively, and so I don't hold much
And
to
if I
it, but
remember this world's right, wasn't Hooney like he actually played really really well in the final?
he did.
Because
He played really
he
well in the
struggled that regular
final.
season, didn't he? If I remember right, he struggled a little bit in the regular season. I think they even benched him a couple times.
Maybe.
Or maybe that was Peanut that I'm thinking of that was struggling. But either way, um,
He played well in the
played
final,
well.
so he wasn't the reason they lost. And you could argue Meta's the reason they lost, but then you could just argue Meta's
I
the
I
reason any team
I think
loses.
the reason they lost was Ruler Core JJ probably. Like,
Oh, Ruler like
yeah,
outperformed.
like Ruler Core JJ carried that team.
Ruler's definitely going on this list.
Oh, for sure.
100% he's
Oh
on this
yeah, he's
list.
on this list.
All right, so what's our consensus here? Where are we putting him?
I don't know. Um,
Want to go 40?
yeah, I
One
think
step above Khan?
yeah, I think we go 40. I think the personality gets him above Gon. Which, speaking of Worlds 2017, that Huni got second place at, Khan was there
Hmm.
with Longju Gaming. They were actually the number one seed from Korea. I think they got fifth through eighth. Let me see. I want to see what the bracket looked like. They lost to Samsung 3-0. So,
So, Samsung.
so Samsung beat Khan, Samsung beat Huni. This was also the SKT went 5 games with Misfits in the quarterfinals. So,
Okay, so that was Misfits
yeah,
outperforming
no, Misfits
and
had a
outdrafting. It was
bonkers.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Still weren't good enough to win, but
no.
they they played really well.
How did
Okay.
SKT? They did lose one game in their group. Who did they lose to? They lost to
Uh,
AHQ.
well, this is, I mean, 2017 AHQ. Um, who's on the team?
This was Chawi. Is he? I don't know any of these players, but
AHQ Esports Club. Yeah, because 2017 was still when the PCS
mhm.
was pretty much a major region.
Right.
So I don't think it's that surprising that you lose a game to AHQ.
I agree.
So
Oh, Cloud9. I forgot this one. Cloud9 went 5 games with WE in quarterfinals, and we lost.
Cloud9's done
And they
surprisingly
lost
well.
2 tiebreakers to get out
Always.
get out of groups. Immortals lost one, and TSM lost one. Because this is the TSM Misfits
It's,
one that everybody thought TSM would beat Misfits, but
and they didn't.
they did not. Big rip. Dang it,
And
TSM.
that was Fnatic's miracle run
Yes, yes.
from, what was it, 0-4 to
Mhm.
finals? No.
No.
No, then that's 2018. I'm sorry.
No, that's 2018.
My bad, my bad.
I was like,
That's when they got to finals,
yeah,
2018.
yeah, because this is still
Alrighty.
the SOAS. They weren't subbing in Bwipo as much in this version.
Mhm.
But you see who Fnatic's coach was in 2017? Greatest North
Uh,
American League of Legends talent we have.
Dylan Falco.
Dylan Falco, baby. Always carrying EU. All right.
I know that I know it's a joke, but honestly,
Honestly, like,
you, like you look at like the top teams, and half the time their coach is Dylan Falco in EU.
it's true.
Like
Like,
he's
he's a
coached.
beast. He's a great coach.
He's so good.
He just,
So
I don't know. I don't understand what. Like, can we get him to North America, please? Come
has he ever
home,
coached
buddy.
in NA?
Probably not.
Uh, he has.
Oh, he has. Who did he coach?
DSM, Immortals, and
Oh
Envy.
no, he coached TSM.
Yeah. Well, he was an analyst for
Oh,
TSM,
okay. I don't count that. That's not coaching.
and he was head coach. Look at it. Look at it. Even in NA, he was head coach of Immortals for 2016.
Oh no. Oh no.
Their best year. The best year for
Yeah, best
Immortals,
year for
Dylan
Immortals.
Falco.
He also did coach Team Envious, which
Yeah, they're not around anymore for a reason.
no, I mean they were sixth place.
He also coached Falco. So,
Anyways,
anyways,
Dylan Falco,
Challengers League.
amazing coach. Yes, let's talk about. There's just a couple things I want to talk about with Challengers League. I don't know if you saw the video announcement that the new LCS commissioner Mark Z
I did.
put out. I thought
I
there were
did see that
some
one.
great changes on there. Things that got me excited personally, and a few of them were actually in the Challengers League, which I think will help a lot grow the space.
Hmm.
Um, First one, I'm really excited for the new Fearless draft format that they have.
Yes, I think it'll be fun.
It'll be super fun. So they do best of twos in the Challengers League. I think they still do best of twos. But basically, it's each game counts as its own game, if that makes sense. So like your record could be 2-0 or it could be 1-1 or it could be 0-2.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It so but I what they're gonna do with this fearless draft is whatever champions you pick in that first game get locked, which I think is
Yeah, so
really
you
cool
can't pick him again.
because it's gonna expand. Yeah, so it's gonna expand the meta and it's gonna help some of these more one-trick challenger players kind of push their champion pool, which I think is
Oh.
awesome. I think it's a really cool
Uh,
idea.
I do have one question for
Yes.
Fearless. If you were to, so does it not lock them if you ban the champion? So like game one you ban something, does that mean in game two they can pick it?
That I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll do some digging here while we look at this.
All right.
So,
I am excited for Fearless Draft, just because I think it introduces a lot more like strategy in drafting because like yes you could like you could not draft something in the first game just because you won it in the second game.
mhm.
And so like you're saving combos, and so like if you really want Lucianami, then you can't pick either of them so that you can get Lucianami in a different game.
All right.
So
I'm trying to
I
find.
think it'll be fun.
I think it'll be a lot of fun. Uh,
We are not the first region to do it though, because they
no.
have been doing it in the LDL,
Yes, the
the
LDL
minor region
has.
for LPL. They've been doing it and seemed like it was going pretty well.
Okay.
So
So it looks like it's like a normal draft, um, except for the first champions that you the champions that you pick in the first game are not available to your team for game two. The other team
okay,
can.
so they can be picked by the other team.
Yes, and you still get your 5 bans.
Okay.
At least that's how the LPL did it. I don't know if they will change anything for challengers, but
Probably not.
yeah. But I think it'll
I
be
imagine they'll
interesting.
keep it the
I
same,
mean, you get
but
in a and they did say for challengers that it will also apply for a playoff series. So if you get in a
okay.
5 game series, on top of bands. Like there can be some
You're
interesting team comps there.
you're gonna go down your list fast.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
it should be interesting. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna quickly go through the other two because
Are we overtime?
we're already
We're
like an
definitely
hour
overtime.
in. They're gonna broadcast the games right after LCS on match days, which I think is
Yes.
great because
I think that's a fantastic decision.
most people, I mean myself included, if there's gonna be more games, I'm probably just leave it on and just kind of keep watching. So I think
Mhm.
that'll be really cool, and they're also gonna put in more challengers content into the broadcasts for the LCS, which I think is great.
Yes.
I think the more that they kind of integrate the two leagues, the better it'll be.
I agree with that. On the second point as well, uh, since the broadcast for LCS is going to get shorter,
Mhm.
that'll leave more time to watch the Challenger games as well,
Mhm. Yeah.
which I think will be a great change having those two together because like before it's like okay, I have 5 games to watch today. That's going to take 4 hours. Well,
Right.
now we only have 4 games in LCS, and that's only going to take like 2 hours maybe.
Yes,
So
because
that
we're
leaves
talking about
2 hours that you could have Challenger games
yeah.
that I was watching already before.
Right.
So
Exactly. Exactly. And then the third point that they brought up in their uh, announcement was Tier 2 America's Tournament.
mhm.
So what this is they're gonna take top teams from North America, Brazil, and Latin America and put them in a tournament. And I think that's really freaking cool. I would love to see that expand to like EU Masters teams or like uh, LDL, like make it almost like a little mini worlds that you can do and kind of look at the new talent that's coming up. I think that would be really cool.
Amateur Worlds.
Yeah. So I think that would be pretty sweet. We'll have to see what they do with that, but I think it would be really cool.
I'm. I think step one is to see how this tournament does, and if it does well,
Hmm.
then why not expand it?
Yeah, see if you can expand it.
Or if other regions don't want to expand it, why not uh, do invitational then for Americas and like invite amateur
Yeah,
EU
yeah.
Master teams or
Do
LDL
do like an
teams and
IEM.
yeah, do like an IEM or
Yep.
something of that
Yep.
sort and be like, okay, we're holding this tournament, come play.
All right. Yeah. No, I like it. I think that's a good direction that they can go in. Should we go through the LCS changes?
Yes, we can probably talk about them. First one, shorter broadcast.
Thank
Okay,
freaking goodness.
shorter turnaround time in between games. Specifically, that's what we're doing.
Amazing. I think this is such a great change.
I
That
think
always was so brutal to sit there for 15, 10 minutes waiting for them to talk about the next game, to just
mhm,
get into the draft, to just it was just so much downtime.
so much downtime. This is a I think fantastic. Another thing that I had heard brought up is there's so many bugs that happen in Champ Select.
Hmm. Yes.
Like so many times they have to remake Champ Select or whatever. If you're pre-recording the draft, we don't have to do that. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Right. Yeah. We don't have to sit there and wait for a swap bug or a rune bug.
Yeah, no, we can just get right into game.
Yeah.
Champ Select's already happened. They just have to pick their champions, hop right in after their uh, the tech checks.
I also think that so what they're gonna do with the drafts, I don't know if you've heard this part, but they're going to do them in like the back rooms first
Hmm.
before even like doing their ready checks and doing all that stuff,
Yeah,
which I think is interesting because I think it actually gives more value to good coaching because you're gonna know for a longer period of time what the other team is playing and what you're playing and what your win conditions are. What are your loss conditions. Like it kind of gives more value to coaches that can say, hey, let's focus on these things and let's like stop them from doing these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that'll shift the coaching style because I think before a lot of it was just prep during the week. You kind of know
Right.
what to expect from a team.
Right. It's all about prepping your draft and getting what you want in your draft. But now it comes into more like, yes, you prep your draft, but then you get to look at their draft, and
Now
see
you
how
get
your
a
draft plays into their draft and talk about strategies.
yeah, you can react better to it,
Right. You don't get what 5 minutes to talk about it. Instead, you're gonna get like probably 10, 15 minutes.
which can make a huge difference or can make absolutely no difference.
Yep.
Either way, I think this is a change that honestly, if it works well this split, I think it should be adopted by all regions and international.
Mhm. Yeah.
Having the drafts be pre-done, I think that just solves a lot of issues
Yes. Yeah.
that we've had. So
Mhm.
I see no downsides.
I agree. Um, I'm gonna skip one of these. I'll
Okay.
briefly talk about it. Uh, they're gonna make the broadcast more interactive. Not sure how they're gonna do that. They've suggested a few things like being able to chat with the casters, which I think is interesting, or voting on who gets interviewed, or there's gonna be different ways that you're gonna be able to interact with the broadcast, which I think is cool. I think it's a good idea. Um, and it could also be a way to monetize things if they want to, you know, bring more money to their stream, is
Hmm.
you make some of the interactions monetary, which I personally wouldn't have anything against. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I don't have anything really against it.
I'm kind of like, if the mainstream is free, the extra stuff can be paid for. It's kind of like with the Pro View that they had.
Yeah, when
Like
they
if you
did
want to
Pro
watch the
View.
Pro View, pay for the Pro View. That's fine. Like I'm okay with that. Main thing that I want to talk about is live patch. So all the
Yes.
games are going to be played on the live patch. I'm so excited for this. I think me and you have talked about this multiple times where I'll be like, "Oh, that Trundle pick was really cool in this situation. I want to go play it." But you
But
can't
that's
because
last
it
match.
was like last patch or two patches ago even sometimes when they were having issues. And it's like, dang it. Now I can't play this, and I wish I would have thought of it because it looks fun. But
Mhm.
now we can. Now we can just immediately go into League of Legends and play
Play it
what
for
the pros
yourself.
are picking for fun. Like, to me, that's awesome.
Well, I agree. I think it's a good choice to do it, especially since, as you know, LCS viewership has been going down, and I think this gives more reason for people to watch.
Hmm.
Because like it's something you could actually put into your games right then. We're going to be the first ones playing on the patches, so other regions have more reason to watch and kind of know what to look
Right?
for when they
Yeah.
start playing. Like we might not be the best League of Legends, but we'll
We're
be
at,
the newest.
right, exactly.
So I'm excited
Uh,
for live patches, though they did. Um, it's only for regular split.
right. Playoffs will not be live patch, so
Yeah.
which makes
So
sense
there
because you
there
don't
is
want your
that.
playoff meta to be shifting halfway through
No,
playoffs.
you want playoff meta to be stable. But
Um,
yeah,
the other thing that I wanted to mention real quick is the schedule. I think which I guess we could go to the start dates here.
yeah.
The LCS is a kind of a weird schedule, which um, they do have Valorant, and they have a Valorant tournament, so that's why they're taking a couple weeks off. But it goes like after February 11th. It doesn't start back up until March 2nd.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, and I think it could be good, just in the fact that I mean, one of the biggest things we hear about is player burnout, and I think if you take, you know, 3 weeks off there, 2 3 weeks off, that'll help a lot with that burnout.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it also gives more time to kind of get an idea with the new scheduling, new formats,
Hmm.
new everything. You get a couple weeks run, and like, okay, what needs immediate changes? What do we want more time to look at?
Right. Yeah.
Is pre-recording drafts actually working, or is this just a terrible idea that we need to scrap immediately?
Yeah. True. I like it.
So,
It's about the other start dates.
yeah, I
We're
mean,
about to hop
LEC
into it.
starts this week,
Yeah.
so there is that. Um, After that, LCK starts next week, PCS starts next week, LCS, everybody else pretty much starts next week except for LPL, which is in 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's the start of the season.
Yep. And speaking of the LCS break, I just thought of this when you mentioned LPL and LCK. I mean, they take this first split. They take a couple weeks off for um, the Chinese New Year.
Mhm.
The, the Lunar New Year, I think, is what they call it. So I mean, and it doesn't affect those leagues, to be honest. So
No, no, it doesn't. If we want to talk about like regular sports too, bye week. Like the
yeah,
NFL has bye weeks for every team. Like they have games every week because teams they stagger the bye weeks, but they
right.
do bye weeks because burnout is a real thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, um, well, let's talk about our league here that's starting this week, the LEC, with
Yeah.
their hot mess of a system. I, I'm glad that they're giving it another year. Um, I think there were some good things about their new system that they put in last year.
Hmm.
I think there were some bad things. I think they addressed a couple of those bad things here. One
Yes.
main one being I didn't understand the two different bracket stages, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that they combined it into the one bracket stage. I think it's better.
It it really felt like only two stages because like you had the regular stage and then you had the group stage and then you had the playoff stage, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it really just felt like you had the regular stage and then the playoff stage. It
Yeah.
was just like a playoff to the playoffs, and so why
Yeah.
not just
Why not just make it a playoff? Like,
so
yeah.
they
So
did do that,
it
and they
looks
did
confusing
address
as
the
heck,
points
though.
too. It is. I still don't fully understand it. I need to look at it more.
I think I understand it in the fact that you have your 8 seeds here, and then you get your two winners here, two winners here. Then the
Okay. Yeah.
four losers go down here. So it's basically an upper bracket, lower bracket.
Okay.
Winners play, winners go here. The losers go down here. The winners go here, and then your winners here. So I mean, if you lose this one, you basically you lose twice. You're out, right?
Yeah, it's a double elimination,
Yeah. So
and it's
um,
just best of threes
it just
until
looks confusing as heck the way that it's set up.
they can do a better job setting that up. So
But I
there
think
is
this will be
that.
better. The other thing that they brought up is they have changed the weights of different splits for as far as
Yes.
championship points and also different seeds. So where you end up, your results from the playoff, they changed the points on your seeding, which I like. I think that's a good change.
I agree. I think it was a good choice to change. And then also for the um the LEC playoffs at the end of the year, they also changed that one because
Hmm.
the winners all get in and then I think actually the second places also get in.
For
I'd have to look at that again.
the ending.
Yeah, the final bracket.
It's different. It's shoot, I'm trying to remember what it is. Um, because it's the winner of each season still,
Mhm.
and then I think it's the top three from or top two from the summer playoffs. The other top two, if there's other top two,
And then
and
championship
then
point.
championship points. The next
Okay, yep,
highest championship points.
that sounds right. The other one though is winner of summer is automatically going to Worlds.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
which I think is the right choice to make.
Absolutely, I agree. So, uh, all
I
right.
mean, they might go as a fourth seed, but they're going to Worlds.
Yes. Hey, that's what matters. Let's get into our rankings then, since they're about to start. Let's do some
Yes. Quick
quick
rankings here.
rankings here. So,
All right.
our 10
I
teams we
think I
got
can.
here is a couple new faces.
Yep. We got Giants,
Giant X is what they're
Giant
called.
X. Yep, because it's
XL and
XL
Giants.
and Giants.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
Rogue is back to just being Rogue.
hmm It's actually still Koi. They've combined with the Rogue brand
Yeah,
and decided to go
but
with
they
the
brought
Rogue
back
brand.
the logo and brought the
Yeah,
name back, which I
yeah,
think was the right
I
choice.
agree.
Then we also have K-Core.
Yes, that's to
So
me that's the exciting one because K-Core
that
has
is the
a
most exciting.
massive fan base.
They do. And they've
Like,
been looking for a spot for a while.
yeah, they might have one of the biggest fan bases in the world. Like they're
They're definitely
huge.
up there.
Yeah, them and this what's the Spanish one?
Um,
Uh,
Gosh darn it, I know.
I want to say Koi, but it's not. I know it's not Koi.
It's not Koi. It's where's their
They played them. Oh no, it is Koi.
excuse
Wasn't it
me.
Koi? That because it was Reckless and K Core played Koi.
No, I don't. Okay, where's
It's
the
the one a couple
Masters?
years ago that they had like a massive crowd.
I'm
Anyways,
not
it's not
sure.
important.
It's just I'm not sure. I need more time to look into
Yeah,
it.
I can't remember. Anyways, it's not important. Uh, what I want to do though is I think that we should top left is our who we think is going to finish first,
Okay.
and we'll go left to right. So
Okay. I
bottom
think I'll
right would be
do.
10.
I'll give us our number one. I think we'll agree on this one, but I think G2 is still number one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mad
Mad
Lions.
Lions. I think we could go ahead and put this like well, maybe not last, but we'll put that over there.
They might not be last, but I'm
Uh,
not super excited for that
Not
roster.
super thrilled about that Mad Lions roster. Yeah, I mean, until you beat G2, G2's number one.
Hey, it's same roster as last year. They were
Yeah.
100% best team.
Oh, 100%.
So,
Now this is
uh,
where it gets interesting in my opinion. I think the LEC has a different issue this year than they did last year. Last year was kind of like you had G2 and then there was quite a large gap and there was a bunch of teams in the middle. And then I think this year it's G2. I think the gap is smaller than it was last year. Looking at some of these teams, I think they're better than the teams were last year. But there's still a lot of teams in the middle.
Hmm.
So I think that's a good problem to have where you're kind of closing the gap on that top team.
Yes.
Um,
Uh,
but still, I mean, I don't know who you putting who you think is second here. I'm torn on
uh,
quite a few of these teams.
there's a couple of teams I would put in like that second. I guess I'm leaning more towards the tier list than 1 to 10, because I would put
Okay.
Fnatic in that second tier.
Yeah, we could do a tier list. Would you rather do a tier list?
I think it's a little easier, at
Yeah.
least to organize my
You want
thoughts.
to add like a? Should we add a? I don't know how to do this the right way. I guess word art here. We'll go S. We'll make our own tier list.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. So we got our S tier. We need to make these smaller so they
Yeah,
fit.
that'd be a good choice to make it smaller.
All right, I'll let you do that. I'll just add the. We got our A tier. Oh,
E tier.
that was way better just to copy it.
Yeah,
I'll let you do this. Okay.
I got you. I got you.
Um. Yeah, I agree. Fnatic to me is in this A tier here. I think they got a good roster. I don't know about. I thought Trimby was pretty good actually in the summer split for them.
Yeah,
So I didn't quite
I
understand the Trimby being released, but maybe they see something in June.
the only thing I can think of is better synergy bot lane, just
Right.
language wise,
Right.
easier to communicate. I do agree though. I think Trimby brought a lot to a team, but apparently teams don't think that because he's not on a team.
Yeah, that may have been one of those contract issues where it was too late. They'd already signed players, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, it could
They'd
be.
already
That could be
agreed
it.
on contracts with multiple players, and so they just kind of he just kind of fell through. Um,
He's not out of a job, by the way.
no, he is actually
He's
going to
on the
be on the
broadcast.
broadcast, which is I think awesome.
Oh,
Um, I would
so yeah,
put I think you got to put Rogue up there.
yeah,
I think Rogue belongs in that A tier.
that one I'm torn on because I think personally I would put him more like A&a half in between A and B.
Okay.
Tiers between tiers.
So why wouldn't you just put him at A?
Just Rogue last year was disappointing,
hmm hmm
and
But I think
you've
part of that was the jungle situation.
I think a big part of it was jungle and support situation,
Yeah.
which is the two things they changed out. But I'm not as sold on Shiginda,
Yeah,
and
I'm not either. But I just think Comp and Larson are too good.
I think they're very good, but just I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't impress me last year,
Hey, that's
so
fair. That's fair.
maybe it's just recency bias.
I just think that they're probably one of the better rosters looking at the other teams that we have.
Yeah,
Oh,
my next one for A tier would be Heretics.
I can get behind that. I'm kind of like how you were with Rogue. I have them kind of in between just because I don't know what perks and what wonder we're gonna get, and what Flacken
Yeah,
and what Kaiser we're gonna get. To be honest, it's a
agreed.
lot of question marks.
That is I would put him more in that in between tier. I
If I get what I think we're gonna get, then yes, they're A tier.
the only thing I can say is you do have for sure MVP Yankos on the team. And if it's last year Yankos, then you're at least going to be middle of the pack.
Right. And I honestly, I don't know how you feel about this. To me, ceiling is here with this team. Floor is here.
Personally, I think ceiling's like here, halfway between,
Okay.
and then floor is way down there.
Well, yeah, I mean the floor for any team is always way down there, but
Well, yeah,
I just
but
think with
I'm just
Yankos, he's not gonna get below mid-tier team.
that's what I would think. But I have seen Perks and Wonder be
And Kaiser for that matter.
and Kaiser and Flash. I have seen four of those members been quite bad.
There's a lot of int in this team. Um, I don't know if I would put any other team up in this A tier.
The only one I could make an argument for would be K-Core.
Hmm.
But that also might just suffer from uh, what we expected from Vitality last year.
Right. That's why I'm so hesitant. Is I thought Vitality would be really good last year.
I mean, they were good for like half the year,
That's the issue half the year.
and it was just the wrong half of the year to be good.
Hmm.
So
Although
that one, I
you
am
know what,
hesitant.
I will. I'm. Can we? Is this the same size? I hate this
No,
thing.
we cannot do same size here.
There you go. I'll put him in A tier.
Okay.
And
Well,
one reason I'm putting him in A tier with you here is Yamato Cannon.
that is a big part of it.
I think he's a good coach,
He is a fantastic coach.
and I think
So,
he will get the most out of his players, especially Bo. And if he can get the most out of Bo, that's scary.
yeah, no, Bo running at 100% would be terrifying for the LEC.
Yeah.
And Upset running at 100%, also terrifying. Like Upset, I still think even on Vitality last year was a top three
Yeah, I was gonna
ADC.
say he's really good.
So
Um, next one I'm gonna put on here. I'm gonna put this in B tier.
okay, I think I see where you're going. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where I would put him too.
and I honestly think this might be a little low potential wise.
Hmm.
I have doubted Niski in the past, and Niski just I don't know what it is about Niski, but he just always wins. It doesn't matter
Niski is
like
always
what team
solid.
he's on, he's just always solid. And I don't know Isma, their new jungler that they brought over.
Yeah, I
Who is he? French? I think he's French. There's a lot of
yeah,
French.
he's French. He was on Schalke.
Okay. Is he under a different name?
I think he was not on LEC Schalke.
Oh, okay. He was on
One of the
their academy or whatever.
their their EU Masters team, whatever it is. So
Yeah.
I believe he's new to the league. I might be wrong on that one.
Yeah, it looks like he is. Yeah. Yeah, he was in the minor
Okay, yeah,
leagues.
yeah, he was in the shoot, what is it? The Prime League. There we go. It's the Prime League. So yeah, he is new to the scene, but Niski is all like you were saying. Niski is always just good.
Yeah.
Like he's not what you would. He's never really like what you would put as like the top mid laner, but he's always on a good team.
Mhm. Mhm. And can't and like he's just consistent. And
So
I
I
still like Exakick. I know he had some up and downs last year, but
Yeah, Execute and DOS did have their up and downs, but I think they were mostly ups.
Yeah.
And Irrelevant, I think, cemented himself as a really good top laner.
Yes, I agree. So,
So I agree with that placement. Uh, my next placement, I don't know if you'll agree on this one, but
no, I'm with you on this actually. Oh,
I
no, I'm
am
not with you on this. Okay.
okay. So we
Ooh.
are in a disagreement here. But I am not very excited for Vitality.
Okay. Are you doubting
I know it
Carsey
has
Hill's again?
a lot of good parts from last year. Like Carzy Hillesang were a great bot lane. They did much better than I thought they were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
VTO is a good mid laner. I was not impressed with Photon or Douglas.
Mm,
So Douglas didn't play much. He was like one split, half a
yeah.
split.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
so you would put
Okay.
them B tier?
I mean, I'm in between B and C. I'm like you. I VTO was insane. That one split that he won MVP, and just hasn't really done anything since. He's supposed to be the next big mid laner. Um, and then I don't. You never know what Carsey Hill's going to get. So I'll let you have this one.
Okay.
I could see C tier. Um, I'm going to put BDS in B tier.
Okay.
I don't know how you feel about BDS, but I think their core is solid. Not Adam, but the rest of them. I like Sheo and Nuke. I think Labrov was underrated. I think he's better than what most people. He kind of got the flack in Vitality.
He was the scapegoat for Vitality.
And I'm really I like yeah he did have his issues on Vitality, but I don't think he was the issue. And I thought he was actually pretty decent. Um, so yeah,
I
I
can
don't know.
see where you're going with it. My only concern is BDS definitely downgraded
Yeah, yeah.
in this off season, and like they did make worlds,
Mhm.
but they weren't like they didn't really have a good showing in the last half of the year. I think.
Mhm.
Besides their, I mean, they did have their run to summer finals, right? Or was
Yeah.
that spring finals?
Spring finals is the spring season they were first, and then playoffs they finished second. They lost to Mad.
Okay, okay, okay,
And then summer they finished fifth and ended fifth in the groups.
okay.
Got fourth in the overall finals. So
So yeah, since they're second place
and
in
that's kind
spring,
of how
just
I
kind of downhill.
well, and that's kind of how I like they got fourth, made a downgrade in the bot lane, going from Crowny to Ice, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So I kind of see it like, okay, there's one, two, three, four, five, six. So they're the seventh place team right now. I don't think that's
I
an
can.
unrealistic drop down from fourth to
No,
seventh.
I don't think it is. I think you're right there. I'll give you this one.
Okay.
You gave me the vitality, so I'll give you that. All right, this one I think you will agree with me on.
Yeah, I just don't know how this roster is gonna work.
Don't know how the roster is gonna work. Elyoya for the past this last year wasn't what you would expect from Elyoya,
Hmm.
really.
And I heard there's a lot of issues with this team.
Okay, I hadn't heard about the issues. I just know it's like four rookies.
Well, I heard there was a lot of issues with Elioya and the rest of the Mad Lions team last year.
Oh,
That was the
okay,
issue
okay,
I
okay,
heard.
okay.
So I don't know what those issues were specifically, but I just heard that there was like a lot of the players did not get along.
which is
It's
not what
never
you
good.
want to hear.
No, and they kind of, from what I understand, is they took Elia's side and they're like, "What do you want to do?" And this is what he wanted to do. And I don't think this is the right
So
move.
I agree. I don't think this is the right move. And I mean, we do have precedent for it not being the right move because there is a very outspoken good jungler in NA who often disagreed with his team, and when you side with that jungler, it still doesn't go well. As good as Dardoch was,
Yep. Hmm.
there's a reason he's not playing right now.
Yeah, that you're not wrong.
All right.
Mechanically gifted, mentally not.
Very mechanically gifted, to be fair.
Just had issues.
Hmm.
All right,
All right, last team.
last team. I
Where
don't
you?
know where to put them.
I
That's one.
also do not know where to put them. I'm leaning more B tier.
Yeah, I am too. I think that's a good eighth place team.
Like you got Odo, you got Patrick and Ignar.
I think Peach was pretty overrated last year.
Yeah, Peach was underwhelming.
He had some bright spots, but overall, not my favorite player.
No.
I think Ignar, Patrick, that'll be a good bot lane.
Jackie's I think is new,
Jackie's is new. Not sure.
so don't know
Know
what
what
to
he's coming
expect.
from.
He's 19, so he's young too.
Yeah. But they must see something in him that they're bringing him up, and he did just didn't even make EU Masters, so that's probably not good. I
No.
mean that could also be a team thing. Uh, but yeah, Odoamne is Odoamne.
Odo Omne is Odo Omne, and even last year he looked
He was all right,
still good.
respectable. So
So
yeah,
I think
I
eighth
could.
place is a good
Yeah,
place to put him.
I think this is an eighth place team. So
I feel pretty confident on this.
I feel pretty good about this tier list. I think that's not bad. And I'm thinking into this first split spring.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at just this
I'm not
winter
looking at
split.
worlds. I'm not like, oh, these are the four teams going to worlds. I'm like, okay, the spring split. So
I'm looking at spring split, and I'll even go further. I think some of these rosters will not be anywhere close to the same by worlds.
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think some of these rosters blow up.
Oh, 100%. It
So
always does. It always does. Without fail.
without fail, it does. It does do that.
I am excited though to see here in 3 days actually
Yeah.
on the 13th what I'm mainly excited to see what teams are gonna bust out with this new map changes and everything. Like,
Who's gonna be the Drift King?
yeah, it's gonna be pretty sweet to see all the changes and what people bring out. So
I'm excited.
yeah, I think it'll be
Uh,
awesome.
Speaking of which, what games do we have? Okay, here we are. So it starts off G2 BDS.
Okay, yeah.
So that is game one. After that, highlights Fnatic K-Core. Should be a good
That'll be a
game.
good one.
Um, G2 K-Core.
Yeah, on Sunday, that'll be good. Oh yeah, it's always
Uh,
super weeks. I forgot.
yeah, they do 3 super weeks. Um, I mean that's 2 good games for the first week, and then I
Yeah.
guess we'll see who's performing well and what good games we can look forward to for the others.
G2 Rogue might be pretty good. That'll be a good
G2
test for
Rogue might be
Rogue.
good. Heretics Rogue might be good.
Yeah. All right,
It
some
is to
some
be
good
seen.
matchups there.
I'm excited. Be good to get back to some professional League of Legends.
Yes. Finally, some games.
Been having to rewatch all those World games,
Yep.
so finally get some new stuff.
Hey, was a great Worlds. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
It was a good Worlds up until the finals. The finals were disappointing, but up until then, it was a good Worlds.
All right. I think we are tapped out here. We're an hour and a half in. One of the
It was
longer
a lot to
ones.
cover,
It was a lot. It
so
was a lot to cover. We didn't even scratch the surface on it, to be honest.
no, there is more
Yeah.
to cover, especially with the new LCS changes and
Right.
LEC.
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I thought I'm excited for the changes and excited to see the different things that are going to be going on in the different leagues, and it'll be awesome. So, any parting words of wisdom?
Um, watch the LEC,
Okay, there we
the
go.
fourth best region in the world.
The fourth best region in the world. Dang. Shots fired.
Hey,
Jeez. I mean, you're
NA proved it at
statistically you're not
Worlds.
wrong. Okay.
Statistically, I am right.
Uh,
NA beat EU
truth,
for
truth.
the next like 3 months. I can hold that over their heads, and I'm going to hold it over their heads.
I don't blame you.
Got to take our victories when we can,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
because we're definitely not going to do it again.
I
But
know, right?
hey,
It
I'll
ain't gonna
take it.
happen again, but hey, that's fine. All right.
All
Well,
right.
thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.